G'day guys, Ashuman here. So today I'm going to be shoutcasting a game of Heroes of Newerth. So Heroes of Newerth is going to be the main focus of a lot of my work on my channel here. And so this is going to be my first piece of thing that I've done in regards to Heroes of Newerth. The idea behind this is just to have a brief look at the game in itself. I would be doing a more detailed tutorial on how the game looks, what you're supposed to do, and how you actually get in and play a game and navigate the interface of the game itself, of the game client. But at the moment, this is just going to be a shoutcast of a game that a friend of mine has actually sent in, so that'll be great. And so as you can see here, we've got the picking phase. Brown player on the Hellborn side has readied Scout, and the pink player on the Hellborn side has readied up with Moon Queen. So the other players so far are still picking their heroes, still deciding. They haven't locked anything in as of yet, so I'll probably see the picks come out now. There we go. So the picks on each other's teams will be on the Legion team. You've got Thunderbringer, Rampage, Legionnaire, Bloodhunter, and Pestilence. On the Hellborn lineup, you've got the Moon Queen, Emerald Warden, Nighthound, Polywog Priest, and Scout. So that's going to make up the teams for the moment. And so both teams seem to have a pretty strong lineup, in my opinion. They both seem to be missing a support hero. Thunderbringer and Polywog Priest can both play this role. They definitely can, but they're missing that hardcore support hero. But that's pretty common. You'll often see that kind of thing happening in the lower level of play, down near the 1350 bracket, which is where this game is. You often see that, so that's not an issue. Now, I would say the early game is probably likely to favour the Legion side here, due to the fact that they will have more solo lanes and heroes built to deal with the solo lane, due to the fact that Legionnaire will be farming. So they'll definitely get the early level experience, plus the ganking power of Rampage and Bloodhunter, combined with the early burst damage of Thunderbringer, definitely make this team a hugely early game team. Pestilence and Legionnaire will be providing a good, solid, tanky and ganking component towards the middle of the game, so it's definitely going to look great for them. However, when it comes to late game, the Hellborn side, has it covered in droves. You've got Scout, Nighthound, Emerald Warden, and Moon Queen, all definitely having a carry component to them. Don't get me wrong, the early game potential of Moon Queen and Emerald Warden is high. Even Nighthound, to a certain extent, all have rather large early game potential in addition to their carrying late game. So while they will be playing, I'm sure, a more passive style of game early on, they definitely aren't going to have to sit back and farm all game. So up here in the long lane, we've got Nighthound and Polywog Priest. They're going to be paired up against Thunderbringer and Pestilence here. Sorry, the name just slipped my mind. Thunderbringer and Pestilence. So the lane phase is probably likely to favour the Hellborn side here with Polywog Priest, due to his large amount of disables, long-range harass, and long-range auto attacks. So these kind of will mean that Thunderbringer is likely to struggle a little bit in the harassment, but he can just spam away that chain lightning to great effect. So that's how that will play out. Now here's something interesting. We've got Scout and Emerald Warden here paired up against the Bloodhunter. So that's going to put the pressure on the Bloodhunter to definitely get those last hits that he comes mid to obtain. Without the ability to get those last hits, he's probably not going to be able to just sit here and tank the harassment as effectively with this Scout here to counteract his last hitting. You'll see here that Legionnaire is doing a fine job of jungling. He's stacking up the creeps to accelerate his farm. Each time he gets struck, the Whirling Blade has a chance to go off, and as you can see, spin around, deal damage to him. So the more units there, the faster it is. So if you're ever playing Legionnaire, I do recommend that you do this stacking here. It will definitely speed up your farm in the long term. Down the bottom here, you've obviously seen there's some action between Moon Queen and Rampage. Rampage quite heavily leading the way here, leading the experienced lead here. So he's got a level advantage over Moon Queen, but I'm sure once these creeps here get killed, that will even itself out, as both players have not got any denies or anything like that, and the creep score is actually favouring the Moon Queen. So there you go. That's that. So there seems to be some action up here in the top lane. So you've got Thunderbringer putting out the burst damage into Poliwag Priest, while Nighthound finishing off Pestilence just quickly with that blink. Unfortunately, Poliwag Priest goes down just there, and I'm sure that TB should be able to get away here. He's still got that full bottle. Nighthound here getting a lot of damage from that creep, so he's going to have to back off. So Thunderbringer is going to be fine. He'll use up those bottle shards and he should be okay. Nighthound here is only at about half health though, so he needs to be careful. They could definitely turn this around pretty bad now. In the middle here, Scout's taken some damage from some harassment from Bloodhunter, but Bloodhunter's also getting pretty low on himself, so I think both people are going to be fine. So it's already been a pretty action-packed start. A nice early Bloodlust picked up for that Nighthound, which is fantastic. You always want to see your carry get the Bloodlust early on. Poliwag definitely doing his job there of setting up that. So now you just see Pestilence here. He's pretty tanky. He's able to just sit here and soak up that harassment and get some of those last hits. Scout here trying to do some warding, I imagine, cutting his way through the forest to do as much warding as he possibly can. Meanwhile, Thunderbringer managed to go bottle up that DD rune, so he's definitely doing great. That'll refill his bottle and he'll be in a great position in the laning phase. Down the bottom here, the creep score is definitely favouring this Rampage at the moment. The Rampage is 9-3 as opposed to this Moon Queen 8-3, so it's actually very close at the moment, very, very close. So they're going some to and fro action. New Moon Queen putting out the Moonbeam for a bit of harassment damage there, but considering the fact that the Rampage has 3 trees and is quite tanky with his 5 armor, should be okay. He's actually going to use the charge here on Moon Queen, and then there goes the Moonbeam to give him a bit of a stun, and no Horn Strike. Decided to cancel the Horn Strike there and move away. So nothing's going to happen to Moon Queen just yet. Can he do anything? Ooh, Moon Queen's picked up boots here, so that'll probably make it very difficult for Rampage to get into position. You can see Legionnaire doing a great job just stacking up this jungle. Ooh, he seems to have just missed that stack just then. That's a shame. So that'll probably slow him down a little bit. And naturally, while I'm watching the jungle, I miss a kill down here. So that would be that. Meanwhile, in the top lane, some action going out here. Poliwag Priest all out of mana and a smoke cloud's used defensively. So anyway, that action in the bottom lane clearly was Rampage went on to Moon Queen, and Moon Queen just nuked damage just too hard and managed to get him down in the long run. Legionnaire's moved into lane now, as you can see, to pick up some additional farm since it's free, and our Rampage has made his way back to the lane. Sorry about that, made his way back to the lane, and now he can continue farming. Legionnaire is going to try to wait in here, I imagine, to set something up. Picking up his life tube, which is always a brilliant addition to get really early on him. Allows him to just jungle forever and ever. Illusion Scout coming up here. Illusion Scout coming up to the top lane. So I don't know what that's going to do. However, his illusion did manage to bait out a silence from Bloodhunter early. Whittle out in that manner is always good. So let's see if he can kind of bait out an ability up here on top with his illusions. So the creep score of the game. So the game is definitely, the advantage is definitely favouring the. Oop, we've got some action down here. Nope. So the advantage of the game early on is definitely favouring the Legion scene with their, despite not having as many kills, and I would imagine that would be because of this Legionnaire jungling is definitely giving the Xperi's advantage to the Legion side. At the moment, the action seems to have died down a little bit, so it'll give me a chance to go over some items. Thunderbringer has picked up some boots after his bottle off the bat, while Rampage has picked up a Mystic Vestments to help handle the magic damage from Moon Queen. We've already talked about the life tube on Legionnaire. An Iron Shield for Bloodhunter to allow him to tank a little bit more, plus giving him bonus damage against these creeps, which is always good. And Pestilence has picked up an early pair of boots to get into position to put out those melee range stuns, which is always handy. Moon Queen is going straight for face boots as fast as she can. We've seen no items yet on Emerald Warden, and no items yet on Nighthound. And Scout is going straight for his steam boots, so Both of those looking great. Bloodhunter, however, some action up here on top where they dive the tower and get Nighthound there with their combined burst damage. He seems to have done rather well in that regards. Pestilence getting out alive and getting the kill for the Legion team, so that's always great to see. For the Legion side at least. Countering the farm of that Nighthound, it'll be interesting to see what he will have when he comes back to life. I'm sure he's been picking something up. The unfortunate DC of Polywog Priest meant he was kind of in a bit of a pickle there and abandoned on his own. So that is a shame. As you can see, Rampage and Legionnaire looking to set something up here, but Moon Queen has clearly worked it out and knows something is happening. So she is being very cautious, hanging all the way back there. Seems to be a bit of a party in the fountain over here. Rampage mannering up as he charged a creep that before. I don't know if that was intentional, but I imagine that it wasn't. See, that was a bit of an accident there by Legionnaire. Pretty poor positioning on his behalf, I have to say. Running too far away from Moon Queen and allowing her to just cast her ult and only strike Legionnaire. So as you can see, Scout here invisible. Maybe he'll try to set something up. Nope, just a bit of harassment at the moment. Nothing really coming out of this as of yet. So some harassment exchange going out here between Polywog Priest and Thunderbringer. Nothing, I imagine, too serious is going to come out of this. Polywog Priest does have to be very careful. If Thunderbringer can use both his nuke and his Lightning Storm and Blast of Lightning, Polywog Priest can definitely be in some trouble. But at the moment it looks like he's going to back up and allow himself to heal up a bit with his Runes of Blight. Pestilence here waiting in the bushes, trying to do, he's keeping his ultimate bugs swarm on Nighthound so he prevents him from going invisible, which is always handy to do. He has to be careful though, because there are 3 people in the lane. Emerald Warden is definitely looking for some action. They're all roaming quite extensively. They clearly know something is up and are definitely looking out to put out some damage. But with Pestilence's good positioning, he seems to be okay. Meanwhile, Bloodhunter is still happy to just keep farming away here in middle. Not much that this poor Scout can really do 3 levels underneath a Bloodhunter. So Bloodhunter is probably just going to have extensive farm. Meanwhile, some roaming here. Rampage is definitely in some trouble with the bird and then the silencing shot plus the blink to finish it all off. Now the silence and then the moonbeam plus the bird actually finishes off Legionnaire. So that was definitely a 4v2 finishing off in favor for the Hellborn. So the Hellborn definitely moving as a team, making it work right there, which is great to see. So this positioning by Emerald Warden, not the best. Pestilence is very close to the tower here. Will they go on him anyway? It doesn't appear that they will. Here we go, here we go. So they've used a few abilities. Rupture coming out here on Emerald Warden. Emerald Warden is on such low health. You see Rampage TPing in. Beautifully positioned smoke cloud. Now they're going to get the stun here on Nighthound. Nighthound is probably in a lot of trouble here. Yep, Rampage using his ultimate to prevent him from getting away. Bloodhunter still looking to continue the chase here. Silences Moon Queen just as her ultimate goes off. Brilliant silence, however, misstunned by Pestilence, as he says there in the chat. Nice. Even takes the time to yell out fail, and it costs him his life. Now you can see everyone else waiting here in the wings. Will they go in on this poor defenseless Moon Queen, or will she back off and be fine? She definitely does seem to be fine as she back off. Thunderbringer sitting here in the well, looking for an opportunity to ult perhaps. Not exactly sure what he's doing there. Moon Queen picking up some mana so she can be ready to go into this fight. Emerald Warden coming back down here to bottom lane. Bottom lane definitely seems to be where all the action is at, when I can pronounce my words. So Rampage here definitely could be in some trouble if they all decide to go on him here, which they definitely are. Wolves, Bird, and Silencing Shot are coming out, followed up by the Moonbeam by Moon Queen. The ultimate going to be used here. Oh! Really unlucky bounces there by Moon Queen. Does not get the final one onto Silence on the creep there. Now the creep cannot cast any spells at all. Always remember to silence the creep, because that way it will stun you if you do not. Anyway, moving on, the ultimate coming out by Legionnaire to finish off Moon Queen. So Moon Queen did, Emerald Warden. Emerald Warden ended up dying there, and now Moon Queen forced to sit back here and mana up. So there we go. Almost evening out the kills here for the Legion side. Legion is definitely still favoured here with some farm going up by Pestilence, is constantly able to get some farm, and Bloodhunter before him, while the ability to spread the farm out to the jungle here with the Legionnaire. Polywog Priest has been able to get some free farm up here the entire time, making up for his DC before, which is good. Rampage is going to use his charge on him, however, and that charge putting out huge amounts of damage. Nice, brilliant minimized by that. Oh, beautiful ward trap. That is an amazing ward trap. Oh, unfortunately, Polywog Priest pays for it with his life, but it looks like Rampage is going to die as well for this. So Rampage definitely is in trouble, and so he was not getting away in any fashion there. So nice exchange there. Emerald Warden in a bit of trouble here, able to use a silencing shot to stop, and the wolves to get the slow off, so he is going to be fine. Unfortunately, Pestilence not able to follow that up. He does look like he's willing to hang around though. He might be able to finish it off with another stun. However, he does seem to want to back up a bit. Bloodhunter kind of revealing the fact that he's on low health. Moon Queen not seeming to care, however, and she's willing to go in anyway, so Moon Queen could be a dead duck here. Polywog with a brilliant TP, and in an unfortunate tongue tie on the creep, but it doesn't matter, gets the kill anyway. So that worked out really well. Brilliant TP there by Polywog, able to come into the team fight and change that up. TPs, best item in Heroes of Newerth, hands down. They are unlimited and best gold you will ever buy. I'm going to rant so much about TPs, they honestly win the game. Harder than anything else. Now Polywog Priest making his way back up here, while Scout is able to get a bit of farm. It looks like Thunderbringer is actually AFK, so that is a big shame for this Legion side. That is a huge shame for them. Anyway, Legionnaire finishing up his, continuing his farm, not finishing up. I'm sure he'll be here for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Emerald Warden picks up this double damage. Nighthound getting some farm in middle lane, which is always good. Moon Queen looking to do some roaming here. She's finished off her phase boots and moving on to what I would imagine is going to be a lifesteal helm, and so that should be good. It's always a strong build I find on Moon Queen to get the lifesteal very early. Typically the build you get treads. Meanwhile, it looks like Rampage has finished off and killed Polywog Priest, and now Pestilence looks to be diving Scout here. If only Scout would have just stand there and auto attacked, he probably would have been alive for that. But you know, no, never mind about that. So they both went down there, one to the tower, one to Pestilence, and then a whole lot of heroes though coming off here from behind. They may be in trouble. So the ultimate coming out from Moon Queen here to finish off Bloodhunter on his own. Rampage is definitely in some trouble here. The Moon Beam and the damage from the auto attacks enough to finishing off. Bird also dealing a whole bunch of damage. So there's a whole lot of them up here. I would imagine they would look to push the tower now. So we'll see if they choose to do that or decide to back off. Moon Queen finishing off the Whispering Helm. Whispering Helm being great for her survivability, so she will be able to make use of that. Just stand in the team fight while the ultimate is going. Thunderbringer seems to be back and using his ult there to push back everyone from the tower. However, it was not successful. Polywog again on his own down here at the bottom, using some mana here, maybe looking to push in the tower with his wards. It's always an effective strategy. Some action here in middle. Pestilence appears to have gotten kicked by their team, so he was not able to finish his gank on Scout. It's always hard to continue ganking someone when you get kicked. So a lot of people roaming around up here in the jungle, near the secret shot up here. There is 4 Legion nearby. Bloodhunter is a little bit overextended at the moment. Will he decide to go onto Moon Queen or not? No, he's decided to cancel that and back off a bit, which is probably wise considering his reinforcements were very far away. Rampage has charged someone now. Let's follow Rampage He goes in on Scout and then follows up with the ultimate on Scout. Meanwhile, Legionnaire charges Emerald Warden, so Scout is definitely in trouble there. Scout is going to die. Despite going invisible, the aura from Blood Hunter more than enough to finish that off. Silence and ultimate combination followed up here on Emerald Warden. She doesn't really have much of a hope there. She finished off by the burst damage from Thunderbringer. Now the 4 heroes in mid here, will they attempt to get a... They're going to attempt to charge the Moon Queen here, so they may be in some significant trouble here. Rampage does, however, cancel the charge. The Moonbeam coming out from Moon Queen there, followed up with a huge amount of insane damage on to Nighthound there by Thunderbringer, activating the Mask of Madness at the wrong time. The Elder Parasite, sorry. Moonbeam quite enough to finish off the low-level Blood Hunter. Brilliant Hex there mid-fight by Polywog, definitely turning that around and not allowing Rampage to combo off very effectively there. So well done by map awareness by the Hellborn side. The kills now appear to be 10-12. So favouring the Hellborn side there. 12 kills on the Hellborn to 10 on the Legion. Polywog here just pushing the lane in a bit. Since he's got Scout in the bushes nearby, he can be pretty certain he's going to be safe. However, Thunderbringer coming up here, but Polywog has decided to back off. Moon Queen loving these mana pots, mannering up here nice to make sure she has enough mana for her ultimate move. A lot of heroes wandering around here up top. Scout always making sure to keep his eyes up, which is great to see. Moon Queen taking a little bit of damage from these creeps here, but I'm sure she can live with that. So that was Moon Queen finishing off Thunderbringer there. Insane amounts of damage coming out from just her hideous level advantage that she has. Poor Thunderbringer being AFK for so long has probably not got much hope. It's definitely starting to look pretty advantageous for the Hellborn. They have quite a significant gold lead at this period of time, and in fact 5,500 gold lead and a 1,000 experience lead. So it's definitely looking to favour the Hellborn side, considering it is also a 5v4 now. Legionnaire has finished off his Vanguard now, his Helm of the Black Legion, and will be looking to finish off his Phase Boots, I'm sure. Blood Hunter has no boots and is just going straight for the Codex. He still needs another 1,500 to finish that off though, so he'll be looking to finish that soon. Thunderbringer has red boots and a Neophyte's Book. I'm not sure what he might be going into that. A common build with Thunderbringer is Staff of the Master, possibly a Codex as well. So we'll look to see what he turns that into. Emerald Warden here has a Life Tube, a Mystic Vestments, a Power Supply, and Ghost Marches. So she's got quite a significant farm. Nice ult positioning there from Moon Queen, managing to put out a significant amount of damage, getting the kill onto Legionnaire, but also putting quite a bit of damage into Thunderbringer here, preventing him from being able to continue on. So he's going to Moon Queen has, however, backed off a little bit here, and Scout looking to hang around invisibly, probably wanting to eat this delicious Thunderbringer. We'll see if he's able to do so or not. He's used the silence, and now his unfortunate positioning is causing auto attacks to be a challenge. However, I think he's got this. Thunderbringer using a nice bottle to survive the burst damage. However, the slow might cost him his life. Scout is pretty quick while invisible, so we'll see if he's able to do it. Yep, one attack definitely finishes off Thunderbringer, and that's all she wrote. So Scout will be very close to finishing off his Runed Cleaver shortly with the 2 broadswords early. So looking to get some nice farm up here to help finish that along. Nighthound still has no more items except for the Elder Parasite. We haven't seen him get anything further, so we'll look to see what he finishes off now. Polywog Priest. Ultimate being used on Scout here. Scout is probably in a whole bunch of trouble. He's gone invisible, but that will not save him from Blood Hunter. Unfortunately, Scout drops there, and Blood Hunter's got the kill. But there is a lot of people nearby. I don't know if Blood Hunter will be able to survive this one. The movement speed on Moon Queen versus the red booties of Blood Hunter is not enough. A pounce and then a Moonbeam coming out. The Wolves should get him. Yep, the Wolves finish him off, and Polywog coming to cut him off. There was definitely no escape for him. So Polywog looking to hang around here just a little bit to possibly push this lane in. We'll see what he decides to do. Rampage charging in. Here we go. Rampage puts the charge onto Moon Queen. Poliwag putting out the disables onto Rampage. Not a lot he can do there. Dropping the ultimate from Thunderbringer, and then the wards from Poliwag. Legionnaire getting amongst it, being incredibly tanky, able to deal out a hideous amount of damage with all those spins. However, a slight amount of overextension there, despite everyone being so low. Probably not much he could have done there. It was a shame that everyone else had to back off so early. He might have been able to make something out of it. So now the Hellborn team definitely deciding to continue the pressure here, pushing in this tower, I imagine, or it looks like they're going to break it off now. Why push when you can farm? That's what I always say. Always remember that when you have a hideous amount of advantage, to farm to make the game last as long as possible, because you always want to make the game last stupidly long. The silence and ultimate combination coming out from Bloodhunter here, and the Scout ultimate to follow that up, but I don't think it's going to do anything. So Bloodhunter gets the kill on Emerald Warden there. The push staff coming out from Thunderbringer, while pushing him in the right direction, wasn't able to capitalize upon it. Unfortunately, the silence from Scout is cancelling that. Bloodhunter just getting some delicious health back from these creeps, so that'll be great for him. So he looks to be getting pretty close to getting his Codex soon, I'm sure. Let's have a look at the general items overall. Moon Queen looking to finish up her Assassin's Shroud. Well, Emerald Warden hasn't picked up anything. Haven't seen anything new coming out of Nighthound just as of yet. Neither have we seen anything new coming out of Poliwag Priest. The Battle Fury still not finished yet on Scout. The Rune Cleaver still not finished on Scout. We've seen the Push Staff come into action from... So Tablet of Command coming into action on the Thunderbringer here. Then we've got what looks to be a Soul's Bulwark coming out on the Rampage after the Face Boots. You've got Face Boots and Ghost Marches even. Ghost Marches and Helm of the Black Legion coming out here onto Legionnaire. And as I said with Bloodhunter, looking to still finish off those Codex or those Ghost Marches. So Poliwag here just pushing really far, but with a nice little bit of juking, looks to be okay for now. He does have a TP stone if he gets in trouble, while the rest of the Hellborn team is looking to push in the middle here, or just farm. They look to be just farming, not pushing at the moment. The two Invis heroes going for a bit of a wander in the jungle. There is quite a few people in the jungle down here, so we'll see what they're going to do. Emerald Warden looking to join them, while Moon Queen is finishing her Assassin's Shroud and then on her way. TB stumbled into the wrong amount of heroes. The silence, the Wolves, and the ultimate coming out from Scout, followed by the silencing shot, is more than enough to finish him off. Rampage comes in with a charge, and then that wasn't able to do anything. The ultimate used on Legionnaire back there was enough to finish him off. The hideous amounts of burst damage from all the heroes will finish off Bloodhunter, and that looks to be pretty much everyone dead. That is a genocide for the Hellborn team, and I'm sure they'll push this tower in. Now with the advantage that they have in that team fight. There was some great disables there from everyone. Brilliantly placed Cloud by Nighthound, and the good disables coming out from Poliwag Priest. Great positioning from Poliwag Priest in that fight. Brilliant work. Also, nice positioning the entire game really for Moon Queen. She has done some fantastic ults this game, just staying just far enough back from behind the creeps to bait people in, thinking they will be safe, but no. So look at it, here we go, dragging up the creeps to the wards here to push in the tower. Brilliant work by Moon Queen. Her positioning has been fantastic all game. Really well done. Also, I like the pickup of the Assassin's Shroud. I feel with the addition of Genjaro into the game, Assassin's Shroud is a really great item for all ranged agility heroes. It is definitely good on certain melee agility heroes, but brilliant on all ranged agility heroes, especially heroes like Moon Queen, where positioning is so vital. I feel the addition of the slow plus the burst damage to already rather bursty arsenal is great. The silence and ult combination coming out here on Moon Queen. Despite it being invisible, she's probably in a lot of trouble. Silencing shot on Legionnaire not able to help much. The Wolves slowing down both Bloodhunter and Thunderbringer. It's not going to be able to save his friend, however. Emerald Warden seems to be able to get away with her face boots just coming off cooldown now. I'm sure she will be okay. Meanwhile, the Poliwag action continuing that it is deciding to dive onto Thunderbringer here, the ultimate coming out from Thunderbringer. Emerald Warden getting the proc from her face boots and her bird. Definitely able to help her out here, but I think Bloodhunter's got the one step over her. He's much, much faster. Meanwhile, back here, Nighthound going on to Thunderbringer. But the ultimate coming out here on Nighthound, will they be able to make him pay for picking off their Thunderbringer? The silence. Yep, definitely. The silence and the auto attacks from 3 heroes more than enough to take down a Nighthound. So Scout looking to come in. Nope, Scout's finished off his Battle Fury, but he probably won't be able to make use of it just yet. So Polywog Priest, meanwhile, up there, teleported top, denied that tower, and looked to push in that tower. His positioning here is behind the team fight. He must be really careful here, or he's going to get screwed. Will he go in? Will he be a baller and absolutely engage from behind? Here he goes, throwing out the wards, trapping Bloodhunter nicely. Unfortunately, the combined burst damage from both Bloodhunter's ult and the auto attacks from Legionnaire, too much. No follow-up from Scout, but still 1v3, probably not the smartest decision. Legionnaire finding a regen rune here, which is great. Legionnaire probably not the easiest hero for Scout to pick off, and both Rampage and Bloodhunter both have high armor, so neither really optimal targets for Scout here, so he's probably just going to have to stay invisible. Scout, however, will find a haste rune. I wonder if he'll be able to make something out of that, staying invisible. Rampage looking to scout out the Hellborn jungle, definitely seems to be on his own. He's run into Moon Queen here, managed to stun Moon Queen before the ultimate, which is well done. So there will be no dead Rampage. Rampage looks like he will be able to live, which is quite impressive. Nicely timed Horn Strike there onto Moon Queen there. It was a charge actually, nicely timed charge, well done. Good charge onto Moon Queen there to cancel that ultimate, otherwise that would have been one dead runner. So the Hellborn team looking to group up a bit in mid. Polywog Priest still in base, while Scout making use of some nice and easy farm down here with the Runed Cleaver's pushing ability, and damage is always great. The Legion seems to be definitely pretty grouped up here in the forest, wary of some ganks. So here we go, some ultimate coming out here on both Rampage and Legionnaire. Nice pick up there by Legionnaire with the barbed armor, putting a lot of damage into Moon Queen there. The Rampage definitely is going okay, despite the damage from Thunderbringer's ultimate. Not really able to make much happen. Moon Queen just that too fast. And now the Blink plus the Elder Parasite combination onto Rampage, then the ultimate from Scout, definitely enough to finish it off. The ultimate coming out here onto Bloodhunter onto Polywog Priest from Bloodhunter, plus the Codex, more than enough to finish him off, so he's going to drop. Now we've got this fight still continuing. All 3 of the heroes here are just going to open up with their burst damage onto Bloodhunter here. Bloodhunter's on bugger all health. Will he be able to get away? The push staff coming out, but that Wolves will definitely finish him off. Nice push staff, but the stupid amounts of range on that item, more than enough to finish it off. Then the Elder Parasite Brutalizer Steam Boots combination on Nighthound. Definitely one of those ones you want to pick up if you want to lose every game. Always remember, buy those items if you want to lose, but it looks like not in this case. Nighthound doing the obligatory trolling his team into victory, despite the fact that one did leave and he built the worst items in history. So always remember to, when you play Nighthound, build the worst items you can find in Hon, and then treat your opposition like trash, because that will show everyone how amazing you are at this game. But anyway, so that was me, Ashuman, and that was my first ever cast of a Hon game. And so look around my channel for some more. There will be more up. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys around. Peace.